I had talks with you where we would actually be in the green room at Turner Sports because I was at NBA TV at the time.
Yes.
You're like, I think I'm gonna walk away from this. And in my mind, I'm like, girl, you got the money though. You got that corporate bag.
Yeah.
Like you were set. You said, I'm going to risk it all.
Yeah.
To pursue my dream as a reporter, sideline reporter, anchor. That's unheard of.
I just believed that the money was going to come. And it was rough because I'm looking around at my girlfriends and they are taking their trips to Belize and doing all the extra things that I used to do. If not for me literally telling myself that every day or looking in the mirror and saying, you are beautiful, you are enough, you can do this. Like you got this. And just putting mantras all around, I know my worth. And that was important for me to help them to understand. And I know I'm the only Black female cracking a mic on a sports talk station in this city. So let's talk.
Tell them folks it's bedtime, lights out. We in all.
Cheers, everybody. And we are back with another edition of the Cool Soror podcast, where we interview amazing women in Black Greek-letter organizations. I am your host, the one with the most, East Side, Atlanta, Georgia, because Decatur is not Atlanta. If you're from Atlanta, you understand the song by Amaretta. But anyway, neither here nor there. I am Rashan Ali, and today I am joined by a good friend of mine, Tenitra Batiste, who is a cool soror of
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Look, I wore a piece of red.
Yes, I love it. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Tenitra is a lot of things, but currently the in-game analyst for the Atlanta Hawks. She's also a sports anchor, reporter, host on 92.9 The Game, and so much more. Announcer for the Hawks NBA G League team, College Park Skyhawks, and so much more. And your story is something that I'm so glad that we get to share, because your career started in human resources.
Yes.
Yes. You were a corporate woman.
Yes.
So let's talk about I'm not going to talk about the transition yet, but you were really into the corporate life and human resources from the very beginning. So take me back to getting your degree and then landing in the HR space.
Yeah. In college, I had psych as a major and communications as a minor, but I really didn't see a lot of faces that looked like yours and mine on air, and especially not in sports. So I thought, okay, I'll do the safe thing. I'll get the good job. So I get that bachelor's degree. Then I go and get the master's in IO Psych. It's like, well, I still get to talk to people, but it's not sports. So I'm climbing the ladder, kind of doing my recruiting thing, training and development, consulting, but it was just never fulfilling for me. I was always looking at sports, going into programs at NYU and Xavier and just all sorts of, it was always sports. So finally, fast forward later in that career, and there was an opportunity working for Turner Sports at the time, and just seeing
in HR.
Yeah, I was the HR person for Turner Sports.
Wow.
Yes. So literally just watching the ins and outs there, I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore.
Okay. I'm going to stop you there because we're going to go back to that story, because I think that is like the juice of the story of you literally walking away from all of that, all that good money.
You better believe it.
Yeah, because that thing was good.
All that corporate money.
That corporate money. And it's consistent.
Hello.
Right, and you got them benefits.
Yes, and those bonuses.
And all the bonuses. Oh, my God. Okay, we'll go back. Where did your love of sports come from?
It's just always been there. I am a tomboy, and I know you can appreciate that because you
I'm
are
one
totally,
too.
I know, exactly.
Right.
So it's like literally I was that person who would go on the field. And it's funny because I just saw my neighbor at a Hawks game a couple nights ago, my neighbor from Louisiana. And we were talking about that. Like, I would be the person who, hey, if you're going to draft the quarterback for touch football, draft me. And I would be the one where they'd be like, I dare you to jump off the second or third story of the house. Bet I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Or, hey, let's run the 100-yard dash. That's me. But unfortunately, I have medical conditions that, at that point it was like, you run, you die. And my mom was like, yeah, that's my only child. So what I'm not going to do is have her. And so I always say those who can't play, talk about those who do.
Right. And so is basketball your favorite?
It has become my favorite.
What was the original?
Oh, it's football because I'm from the South.
Come on.
So that's what we do.
Right.
Football is like, what do we say, faith, family, and football. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So it was always football. And then I moved to Jersey. And for in my corporate life.
In your corporate life.
Yes. And so I moved to Jersey, and that's all ball. That's all ball. That's Rucker Park. That's all ball between, the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. So every weekend I'm going into Harlem, I'm getting my hair done, and I'm going and watching these guys ball out,
Would you be by yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'd hop a train and just roll through the city by myself, just wherever. And if I saw something interesting, like a pickup game, I might stop and watch it. And you just never know who you might see out there. It could be, old school, some of the Knicks, or just anybody playing a pickup game. And then the Nets were hot at that time. The Knicks were kind of hot as well. So it's like, and they were the New Jersey Nets, by the way, at the time.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, I think I kind of like this. So it's become like my 1A, 1B. I mean, it's forever going to be football because that's what I grew up on. But yeah, I love ball.
Who's your college football team?
That is interesting. That's a good question. I rock with LSU because that's the home team.
Right.
I rock with LSU because but really and truly, if it's an SEC team, I'm with that.
Okay, right. Yeah, I love SEC football.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Like across the board.
Exactly. So I felt like we, as in we Southerners, we SEC fans, we're still winning.
Yeah.
Whether it's Georgia, LSU, Alabama, we're still winning.
And kudos to Georgia.
How exciting was that? I can remember covering a couple years ago was my first spring game, and just the energy in that stadium between the hedges is unreal. But yeah, what Kirby Smart has been able to build there, and not just Kirby Smart, but all of those who are, the Kirby Smart tree, which, now they've gone on to do some great things as well. What he's building down there is incredible.
It's amazing. And then when you come under the tutelage of Nick Saban, and then you're able to branch out, and you finally beat your teacher.
Yes.
I wonder what he went on and told his wife that night.
I beat that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, I got him.
I got him.
I got him. Right.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. See, I'm a college football girl to the core. We can talk college football all day. Recently, Matt Ryan being traded to the Indianapolis Colts. And the rhetoric that I'm seeing on social media has just been, you would think the guy never took us to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Or never did anything great in the community. It was like he was actually trying to block for himself.
Yes.
Like he was the offensive line that didn't block for himself. And so he's getting blamed for all of that. What do you think was the final straw for Matt Ryan saying, yeah, I do want to trade? Do you think it was the Deshaun Watson talks?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if I can just take a step back, because like you said, people forget where the Falcons franchise was when Matt Ryan walked in those doors in 2008.
Right.
They forget that. And they forget that he was the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
So you had something from day one, and you're going to the playoffs time after time after time. There are franchises who don't sniff the playoffs, and yet every year he's getting you there. And like you said, sometimes he's getting you there without a good O-line. Sometimes he's getting you there without a run game. Sometimes he's getting you there with one good receiver.
Right.
And yet he's the steady. And I love this quote that I saw or heard a couple days ago. Who do you know that's worked 14 years and taken 3 days off work?
Wow.
Okay, that would be Matt Ryan. He missed three games in 14 years.
Yeah.
And so just the durability, the consistency, all of that. I remember I tweeted out legacy. You guys are going to miss him. I've been saying that for the last couple of years, though. You're going to miss him when he's gone. You're going to appreciate him when he's gone. So I'm excited for him that he's now with a franchise that actually has a legitimate chance to contend in the AFC. But I don't think that chance would have come to him this soon if Deshaun Watson hadn't got the bag from the Browns.
Right.
That really accelerated things. And I know we had a press conference and we talked about, with Terry Fontenot, the GM, and with Arthur Smith, the coach, about what kind of where they were in the negotiations. And, they're a little coy about that.
Right.
But the bottom line is this, that Deshaun Watson going after him at this time was the writing on the wall for Matt Ryan to say, hey, I knew this day was coming, but I guess this day is here.
Yeah. Then we didn't get Deshaun.
Yeah.
We didn't get Deshaun.
Right.
But they threw a bag at him that we just didn't have that type of money.
Nobody had that bag. Nobody. Because the Saints moved and they moved players. They were able to restructure contracts. They got $30 million under the cap. They got $30 million in cap space. That's how badly they wanted him. The Panthers tapped out early. They were like, we fold.
Yeah.
So it's really down to the Saints and Falcons. A report had even come out the day before the Falcons reportedly put their offer on the table saying that the Browns were out of it. So everybody thought it's Saints Falcons.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I mean, they
they
Browns
came out of
dropped
nowhere.
And you know this just as well as I do. $230 million of guaranteed money in the NFL is
Unheard of. That doesn't happen. Guaranteed?
Guaranteed money.
That's basketball money.
Yeah, and baseball money.
And baseball money. You don't get guaranteed money in the NFL.
Exactly.
Right. I hope that who's ever watching this show, I hope you're a woman in sports or a man in sports, because we are definitely talking sports. That's a part of who I am, guys.
Yes.
So if you're part of this podcast, you're going to get all versions of Rashan.
Yes.
Moving on. So yeah, that thing right there just really I was really taken aback when I saw that he got traded, and then for a 3rd round draft pick.
Yeah.
I think that was a little low.
Yeah. People were outdone because they're like, okay, what capital did you really get? But see, that's that leveraging where you never ever know what it could be, because a year ago, not that there were suitors, but a year ago, it probably could have been a 2nd round pick.
Of course.
Maybe even a deep
late first round.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it was the right team who were like, we'll take him because we want to win now. Like a Matt Stafford
he's very
situation.
smart.
Yes.
He's a very smart quarterback.
Oh, very, very
Very,
cerebral. So you would have gotten a guy who maybe isn't as quick as he used to be, or maybe, doesn't have the arm strength. Well, everybody loses that after a while. But the mind, the understanding of the game, unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a stat that literally said he had 0 interceptions on play action plays in 2021.
Wow. He's still,
because the mind still understands the game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe, and of course we can what if this to death, because in 2023, who knows if even a 3rd rounder would have been there. But when you get in a situation, whether you are the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers, or whomever, and you put all your cards on the table, now any team that would be interested in him, they've got leverage.
Mm-hmm.
The Falcons simply did not have leverage. And so you get a 3rd rounder.
Wow.
Yeah. Compared to your boy where they get a 2nd and 3rd rounder, because last year there was some leverage that could happen with trading.
It's all the numbers games, and it's all situations. It's a lot. It's a lot for my brain.
Mine too.
It is.
I can't process all that.
But I do want to go back because of the way you speak about sports and how eloquent you are and how articulate you are about sports. You literally, I want to go back to when you decided to leave HR. First of all, I'm not, I'm sure you won't divulge the salary you were making, but I had talks with you where we would actually be in the green room at Turner Sports, because I was at NBA TV at the time.
Yes.
You're like, I think I'm gonna walk away from this. And in my mind, I'm like, girl, you got the money though. You got that corporate, that corporate bag.
Yeah.
Like you were set.
Yeah.
For life. I mean, financially, because you didn't have a family or children at the time, right? And I know you were smart with your money, but the bold move that you said, I'm going to risk it all.
Yeah.
To pursue my dream as a reporter, sideline reporter, anchor.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Right.
First of all. And what was that first job like?
Yeah, it was interesting because so just a quick step back, because I have got to shout you out. Rashan's been there for me from day one. We literally, and it's kind of like one of your team members just said when he heard my voice, he was like, wait a minute, is that you from 92.9? I know that voice anywhere. Well, same thing. We were at a vision board party.
That's right.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, she's so beautiful. And she has such a beautiful spirit. So Rashan's you're sitting on the stairwell, and I'm sitting like down below, and each of us is kind of, going around talking about our vision boards. And I was like, that voice, I just don't get it. Like, I know that voice. And so finally I put kind of the 2 and 2 together, and we just connected, and we've stayed connected since then.
Mm-hmm.
And literally I can envision, like you said, in the green room, there was a time in the parking lot, you stayed an extra hour after you were out of post-production just to talk to me. And those are the things that kind of told me, okay, I think you can do this. Or the times where I'm like texting you like, Sean, you got like 30 minutes for a coffee meeting.
Right.
Those are the little things that told me, I think you can do this. And so, like you said, I didn't want to go back to school a 3rd time. So I just went to a sports certification program, and I was going to go do it in New York, but they were like, yeah, you'd have to start from scratch. No, thank you. Chicago, I was like, I don't do 4 degrees, so I'm good.
Yeah.
There was, it's because it's winter. So there was one here. Went to school. The director of that program went to 92.9 every week for like 4, 5, 6 weeks. And they were like, we're not taking interns. He was like, no, you want this one. And they were like, we're not taking interns. No, you want this one. So finally, the PD was like, darn it, just send her here.
Yeah.
And when I got there, they were like, oh, we see what you mean. We'd like to take her. And Jamie Dukes and my boy Jerome Jarinovich were hosting a show. And I said, I want that show because they were the triple threat. They were doing digital, TV, and radio at the time. And I said, I know that's what I want to do. So I want that show. And they said, if you can run a board and hit some buttons, we'll hire you.
Right.
And so, like you said, that corporate money floated me for years. That corporate money was why I was able to take that non-paid internship and then make basically less money than I was making when I worked for McDonald's out of high school and college.
Wow.
But I loved what I was doing. And so I moved from producer making little or nothing to producing the #1 show on the station that is now the John and Hugh morning show. But that was a weekend show at first. And moving them on and Jamie Dukes going and advocating for me constantly saying, you do know she's talent, right?
Right.
You do know she shouldn't be pushing buttons. She should be cracking a mic. And finally they let me report. And my first press conference was Mike Budenholzer.
Wow.
Introduced as the new Hawks coach. So that's where that love comes from for the Hawks.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. That was my day one.
Right.
Yeah, that was my very first press conference. So, and then it just evolved into anchoring and then moving to TV. And then, like you said, corporate. The good thing is I could fall back on it because when something didn't work out on the broadcast end, what I go do? Make some corporate money.
Yeah.
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 So
Did you have to do that like a couple of times? You go back and do some contract work?
just
or how
once, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me about that part.
Yeah, girl.
You didn't tell me,
So
you didn't tell me about that.
that's how I know I can't do that 4-degree weather in Chicago.
Oh.
So literally, and one of your sources and one of my dearest friends from Jersey was in Chicago, and she said, "Hey, I know you don't want to do this, but I do know you'd like to come to Chicago for a couple months. So run this project for me for 4 months, and I'm going to pay you a gazillion dollars, and I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do, however you want to do it." And I was like, okay, can I be off every Tuesday? Yes. Can I go back to Atlanta in 4 months? Yes. Can I do this, that? And she built it because there are people that God will allow to cross your path and they understand your grind. And her husband is in the industry as well. So she knew that I needed that bridge at that time.
And she needed you.
Yes.
She needed your expertise. You needed that money.
Yes.
So it all worked out.
And it worked out. And then when it was time to come back here, the station had an opening, the radio station, that I left. And I came back and I said, yeah, I'm only coming back to crack a mic. Like, I'm not producing. I know my worth. And that was important for me to help them to understand. And I know I am the only Black female cracking a mic on a sports talk station in this city. So let's talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
This level of belief that you had in yourself, and this has been a recurring theme with guests on this show, that would be scary for 99% of the people in this world to walk away from that type of money and that type of level of comfortability to, if anybody knows the TV space,
Yes.
you brand new in this space, you are not getting anything. Those moments when you wanted to say, I can't. And even, I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yes.
I'd be like, man, I don't know, man. Tenitra might need to go and make a think about it. But I know you had a lot of, I would never say that to you. Like,
Right.
even I was like, man, they just doing us so wrong, man. We're just going to get a chance.
Right.
But you kept going.
Yeah.
What was that?
When I tell you, it's going to blow you away. FAMU Nation.
Really?
That's right. My Rattlers. You, Denise Hendricks, Kareem White, Tiffany Green. Yes. That journey started actually in grad school. So I went to grad school in Pensacola and I was going to leave grad school. And then I met Denise.
She's a great, she's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
I
know. So, met her then and we lost touch, but we came back together when I realized she was living here. And people like her and you just throwing a little nugget out there every so often. Or one time I can remember calling Kareem and screaming to the top of my lungs and saying, I am done. I cannot do this. And he asked me the question. He said, are you sure? Because when you walk away, he said, you need to be 100% sure that it is completely out of your system. You don't want to turn the TV on and say, that could have been me. You don't want to go to a Hawks game and say, that could have been me. You don't want to see a sideline reporter and say, that could have been me. And I could never, ever say 100% that I was ready to walk away. And then I could never tell anybody what I was going to do if I walked.
Right.
Because I knew I wasn't going back to HR. So that's what kind of propelled me. It was like, oh, I really don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to have to work.
It's
because
gotta work.
I can't and I don't want to do anything else. And then God literally just started opening like mad doors in 2021 that I mean, I can't even explain where all of that has come from and continues to open doors. It's just been amazing. But like you said, there were some low points. There were some low points. So yes, Rattler Nation.
Right.
You guys
in addition to the Rattler Nation, because we're amazing.
You are. You totally are. Saved my life in grad school till now.
Yes. Your faith. Let's talk about your faith and the unwavering faith, obviously, that you have. Is it a personal mantra? Is it a prayer? Is it a Bible verse? Is it a meditation? What is it that you do to continue to keep going, especially in those moments when you wanted to give up?
Yeah, definitely. I do have a Bible verse. So I'll go back to Philippians 3:14, and I say, yes, I am pressing towards the higher mark of the high calling in Christ Jesus. However, that also means I'm pressing every day to my highest calling. So I'm always looking to say, okay, was this the best Tenitra today? Okay, if not, let's try this again tomorrow. Because we're going to get tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And so I wake up in the morning, I'm like, ooh, we got tomorrow? Hey, let's do this.
Right.
Let's make it better than the day before. And then I think the other thing is this. God will always give me what I call a God wink. Mm-hmm. So I was home for a little while when things didn't work out in Tampa before I went to Chicago. And my grandmother and my aunt said, hey, can you help us to clean some things out in like our second house? So I'm cleaning things out and I come across, and that was one of the times where I was like, geez, maybe I should just go back to corporate for good because, man, it's a lot of money. And I saw this plaque that said Journalist of the Year in high school. And I said, wow. So this has always been, it's always been there. So I just believed that the money was going to come. And it was rough. Because I'm looking around at my girlfriends and they are taking their trips to Belize and doing all the extra things that I used to do. And, driving their fly cars, and they still have homes that they own. And I'm like, yeah, so can I stay with you for just a couple months? Let me, catch my wind. Thank God I have an incredible set of line sisters that always hold me down. But that's tough when you're grown, living your life in reverse, as I call it. Yeah. That is tough. And so, if not for me literally telling myself that every day, or looking in the mirror and saying, you are beautiful, you are enough, you can do this. You got this. And just putting, being Mary Jane, that was me, putting mantras all around the house so that I could remind myself, this too shall pass, and there's another side to this. There's the other side.
Ooh, when's the book coming out?
Yes, so it's interesting you said that because I have been taking notes literally because my goal and my hope is to let women, especially women of color, and especially those who, as my girlfriend says, are of a certain age, Miss Inga, who tells you hello.
Hey,
but
Inga.
She says, women of a certain age. That's the other piece. This is a very difficult industry to be in because it is so superficial, and you and I, we're cerebral people, and that piece for me was very difficult.
And chocolate.
Yeah. Let's speak on it, because I've heard people say she's beautiful for a chocolate girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard some say, well, you should put that clip at the beginning of your reel, and even though this is your best clip, let's go ahead and put that at the end, and you know why, right? Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I've had people tell me, wow, she's great, but, she's a little bit older,
right? Or
she's a little bit browner. Yeah. Or they'll tell the third party who will come back and tell me, yeah, that's kind of why you didn't get that. So now those, Rashan, those were low moments, because being from Louisiana and dealing with colorism my entire life. And being told, you're beautiful for the dark skinned girl, or, oh my God, you're beautiful because, under all this, I still got hair, y'all. I just don't feel like doing it. That's why I do this.
That look good. I like it.
Yeah, we're going to do this. Right. But being told that my entire life and thinking why can't you just say I'm beautiful? Yeah. And then having to, having so much success in corporate America and nobody blinking about my age, my height, my weight, my complexion, and then coming back to all of that. So, but that's how God will tell you sometimes as well, that you have some of those issues, those deep-seated issues that you need to address, so that when it comes up on you, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Because guess who does not care about all of that? The Hawks.
Right. The Hawks. And when you, listen, when you got that, when did that happen? That was a year ago when they put it on social media, and I was like, I'm so happy for you. This is great.
You were one of the first people who was like, yes, sis, yes. Yeah, it was crazy because literally, and you know this because I follow you my girl. And your journey as well. And I know, I promise we'll get back to the Hawks, but your journey as well, when we hooked up for just a hot second in Detroit when you were moderating a panel. And I only came in to congratulate you. That was my sole goal, and to tell you, not that you needed it, but I wanted you to know, just like you always see me, I see you. And I was like, she is so in her lane with this show. Oh my God, you're so in your lane. So that was my thing. I just wanted to kind of come out there and say, you were in your lane. So going back to the station, 92.9, of course, is the flagship station for the Hawks and Falcons and United. We do a lot. But for the Hawks, they literally said, hey, we've got this digital show and we need a co-host. They bring in a guest co-host every week. And the guy who they wanted to come through, he was traveling out of town. So they asked my APD, who would you recommend? And he was like, Tenitra. And they were like, oh, well, I mean, okay. 30 seconds into the broadcast, the EP was screaming in the Hawks host ear going, we love her. We have to bring her back. So they would rotate in different people because they also, they support diversity. So they would rotate different people in, but they'd always come back to me. Always come back to me.
I got you.
Yeah. And then literally, so that was, last April, May. And then they called in July and wanted me to do the draft party. And then they called in August and they were like, we created this job for you that we think would be really interesting and good for you. Are you? And before they could finish, Rashan, I was like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so thankfully, of course, still reached out to a couple people to make sure the numbers were right and all that good stuff. But that has been the joy of my life because they just see me for me. They just see the person who loves ball, the person who could talk ball all day, every day, but the person who they still believe looks good doing it. And that has really bolstered my confidence. And it has evolved into now doing Peachtree TV for the Skyhawks, so doing sideline reporting for them. It's just been amazing. So I just think for all of you out there who may be saying, oh my, it's time to wrap it up, ask yourself one more time, are you sure? Or are you ending this right before the breakthrough?
Ooh. Don't end right before the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Dang, that's good. That's good. Because when I was done with sideline reporting, I see y'all down there. I be like, go ahead, baby.
Yeah.
I'm good.
That
was
like,
a great
hey,
hit.
girl.
Yeah.
Hey.
That was amazing. I love how you tossed that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Yes. When you pivoted, you were like, and I was like, she is where she
needs to
totally belongs now. Like all of it, the bodybuilding and acting and girl.
Thank you.
I did have some envy though. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't have. It's good envy.
Yeah, but it was like. Well, I was about to say, what is it? Envy, or there must be some other.
It was
word.
admiration.
I'm gonna go with an admiration. Yeah, because still I want her tips, and she's always loving on me.
Yes.
So let's be clear, because this is what it's all about as well. Because in this industry, it's very, not that it's not in other industries, but it's extremely important when your counterparts give you that cosign, or they give you that love, or they just acknowledge what you're doing. That's another thing that kind of pushes you along and helps you out. So yeah, it's just been, like I said, there were some days.
Oh, I know.
But now we're on the other side and we're really grateful, and some big things are coming, more big things.
I know.
So excited.
Yeah, I know you can't talk about them, but can you just give me a clue of something?
Yeah, so we've got some broadcasts coming up in about a week. We'll be launching a national show. Yes, so that is exciting. I can't divulge, but look out for it. We'll definitely post to social media. And then in the summer, I'll be doing some television work. That's also in negotiations. But there are some leagues that play in the summer that need a sideline reporter. And they're going to have a new one.
Yes. That is so amazing. When you look back, over everything and the resiliency. And, sometimes I hate that word for Black women, but what comes to mind when you think of yourself? Sometimes you got to that song, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that moment like for you when you're like, damn, I'm glad I didn't give up?
Yeah, I will tell you, the last few weeks have really been a lot of that, because of course the season is wrapping up and we're shifting gears and that sort of thing, and you become reflective. And so my producer, our producer for In-Game for Hawks, was like, hey, you're going to do the starter intros. And I was like, oh my, okay. For, celebrating Women's History Month. And so I do it once. And he's like, yeah, it's okay, but I want you to put a little edge to it. And I was like, okay, look, I said, You want Becky or Keisha? I need to know which edge you want.
What
Because
you want?
what
'Cause I
you
can give
want.
you both.
Yeah, right. Because I got Becky
That's the
and I
beauty
got
of being a black one.
Keisha. Right. Because
Yeah.
we can code switch quickly.
Baby,
Yeah.
get into it or don't do it.
And and you won't even know. And then we come back and then we go in.
You're like,
yeah.
oh my
So I was
God,
like,
who
which
is
one?
she?
Right. I said, you want Becky or Keisha? So he was like, well, okay, let's try it again. So I give him a little Becky. So I give him a little Keisha. So then he goes, think about, being an army captain or and I said, oh, maybe I'll think about what my ex-boyfriend did or something like that. It'll make me mad. But I'm like, no, I'm a happy person, Rashan. I don't get mad that often.
Right.
What motivated me was when he said, leave it all on the floor. And I was like, bet. I said, that's how I live my life. I give 110% to everything I do, because I don't ever want God to think that I'm taking for granted any blessing, anything. So when he said that, when I cracked that mic, it was like my NBA finals.
Man.
That's the way I looked at it. And when I finished and Tig was like, drop the mic, that's when you know. And so those are the moments when I say to myself, you got this, girl. Go get him. You can do this. Leave that all out on the floor. He told you to leave it. Leave it. And I have those conversations with myself, or I'll tell myself if I'm on the sidelines, like, go talk to coach. Whatever. Yeah, it's just coach. Coach put his shoes on just like you did.
Right.
So, but your shoes are cuter.
Right.
Yeah. Or, sometimes I'll have to be goofy about it. Just, I do whatever it takes in that moment to get me out of my nervousness, because you'll have that script and you will have that script perfectly rehearsed. You have memorized it. You are ready to rock 30 seconds before it's
that
time.
Red light, come on, you like this.
Right. What? Who is this?
Who is this person?
And then all of a sudden, when they go lights, camera, action, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
You are that.
You are that.
Yeah. And so I've gone through those iterations, and then when we were doing things for, for your foundation.
Yeah, Sporty Girls.
Yeah, so we did something for Sporty Girls years ago, and Rashan said, hey, would you like to say anything? And I was like, crack a mic? Yes! And that's what I tell myself all the time, like, you have an opportunity, you better take it.
Yeah.
You gotta take it. So color commentary for football, I was like, are you kidding me? For ESPN, are you kidding? No, yeah, you can. Yeah. And you will. And you're going to do well.
You are an inspiration to so many people.
Oh,
that pivot, you are the definition of what pivot means, and believing in yourself. That right there, that takes real big girl panties.
Yeah. And Rashan, if I can say this, there are 3 groups, and you're, of course, always in 2 of them, but there are 3 groups that I tell people all the time exist. I'm going to tell you the negative group, and those can still be your friends, right? Mm-hmm. But be careful. The energy, watch the energy and watch what people are saying to you. And if they don't, support the dream, that's okay. They can still be your friends. They just need to be over here on the sidelines elsewhere and keeping that energy over here, because I need the same energy for what I need to do. You need a board of directors and you need a set of cheerleaders. And your cheerleaders are the ones who, when you wake up in the morning and this is not right, you did not wake up like this. You woke up like that. They're the cheerleaders like, Rashan, go get it. You can do it. You're beautiful. Go get it. And you need that group. And you need your board of directors who are also like, now, Rashan, you didn't bring your A game today. Now we can bring it tomorrow, but here's what we need to do. How are we going to do this? And that's also been tremendous for me, just having the board of directors, having the cheerleaders around me. I think that's a very important piece there as well, in order for you to keep pushing in this life, in anything that you do, even motherhood, being a wife, everything. You need a village of some sort that helps you to just continue forward. And my village has just been knocked down.
And undeniable. Yeah. Speaking of village, as we wrap up, of course, you became a member of DST. Xavier, right? Xavier.
Yes.
And you spoke of your line sisters earlier and how they were so supportive of what you have done. Did you choose Delta Sigma Theta, or did Delta Sigma Theta choose you?
I really think it chose me.
Yeah.
I really do think it chose me, because when I was in junior high, I used to get bullied a lot. Yeah, because I spoke differently. And so that was always a thing. And I was always the skinny kid, still the skinny kid. But I went to a mentor and I said, hey, how do you manage through this? Like these kids are, and I was in a fight all the time because I was a little scrappy. Like what you will not do is talk to me or touch me.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have problems.
Yeah.
And so I'm always in a fight. I'm always in the office, the 4.0 student who's always in a fight.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do? And my mentor literally said, well, I was in the same situation. And then I went to college. And I saw she actually saw the Alpha Kappa Alpha ladies on Southern's campus. And she saw the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta. And she said she was cool with them both, by the way. But I guess something drew her into Delta.
Right.
And she said that sisterhood was what saved her and what kept her going in college and what pushed her to grad school and which pushed her to be a principal. And there were just all of these amazing things that she talked about. And she'd been bullied as well. And I was like, well, God, if it's that great, I'm going to need that energy or whatever word we were using at the time. But yeah, I was like, I need that. So literally, I feel like in some ways it kind of chose me because that was what I needed. But I think that there could be an argument that I chose it too.
Right.
Yeah, but it's been amazing. Everywhere I've gone, the sisterhood has been the foundation of how I'm able to succeed and sustain myself. Yeah. But the D9 family.
Absolutely.
The D9 family comes through.
Absolutely. Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. There's going to be some type of synergy no matter what fraternity or sorority that you're a part of. When you find out that you're a part of, you're like, where you play?
Right, exactly. It's coming through.
You know.
Right.
Oh, do you know?
So here it goes. Right. Were you at the conclave? Were you at the convention?
Right.
Were you at the boule?
Yeah. Exactly.
And then it all becomes, and because there's no real 6 degrees of separation with us because we start taking that down. Are you from the South? Are you
did you go to
Right. And then it becomes, did you pledge? And then those walls begin to come down. That's another thing I think I learned a lot from you to utilize those similarities and those commonalities to really forge conversations and relationships that are comfortable and that are organic and natural,
genuine,
like we will do. We'll shoot each other a text out of nowhere. But we think it's nowhere, it's God.
Yeah.
He'll know on that particular day that was what was needed. But I cannot speak enough about the D9 connection and even the HBCU connection because I'm telling you, if it was not for those people, all those wonderful rattlers, I would never have made it through grad school because it was a challenge, admittedly, for me kind of going from the HBCU to the PWI.
Yeah.
And so, you guys saved me.
Saved me. God, let me tell you something. Well, you know what? I am just super proud of you for this is the definition of pivot. You are that. And I'm glad that you stayed the course. Because,
me too.
Yeah, because we wouldn't even have this type of conversation had you not.
Right.
So congratulations on everything.
You.
Congratulations
on
what will be.
Yes.
But God loves you.
Yeah.
And the favor is not fair.
Yeah.
But the favor is on you all the way.
Tenitra
Batiste, everybody on the Cool Soror podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How can people follow you really quick?
At Tenitra Batiste on both Instagram. Actually, it's everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that.
All the things.
Yeah.
All the things.
At Tenitra Batiste.
That's right. Make sure you follow this amazingly talented sideline reporter and anchor and all the other things that are coming up. We'll let you know soon right here on the Cool Soror podcast.